Have you ever thought about what it would be like to experience life from the other side? Imagine walking a day in the shoes of someone who is usually overlooked, treated as invisible, and yet plays an essential role in making everything around us work. What if one of the most beloved celebrities in the world, Song Hye-kyo, decided to disguise herself as a waiter in a high-end restaurant for a day? How would she handle the challenges, the judgment, and the humiliation that so many workers face every single day? It's a quiet afternoon when Song Hye-kyo walks into the restaurant, her face hidden beneath a plain cap and glasses. The uniform she's wearing is simple: a black shirt, black apron, and the obligatory notepad for taking orders. No one here knows who she is, not the chefs, not the customers, and certainly not the other waiters. For the next few hours, she will experience the world through the eyes of someone working in service, someone whose every move is watched, whose value is often determined by how fast they work or how pleasant they appear. As she stands at the back of the restaurant, listening to the bustle of activity around her, she feels a sudden wave of nervousness. She's used to being the one admired, the one with fans and attention, but here, she's just another worker. The staff moves efficiently, taking orders, serving drinks, and delivering food with precision. Song Hye-kyo is about to step into this world of unnoticed labor, and she is both excited and apprehensive. Her first task is simple enough: deliver drinks to a table near the window. She takes the tray, balancing it carefully as she walks over, trying not to fumble. The customers at the table glance up at her, barely acknowledging her presence. She offers a polite smile and sets the drinks down, but one of the customers doesn't even look at her as he mumbles a complaint. "Is this the best you can do?" he sneers. "I didn't ask for this drink, didn't you pay attention?" Song Hye-kyo feels the sting of his words, but she keeps her composure, nodding and quickly apologizing. She steps away, but the humiliation lingers. It's nothing compared to the kind of harsh criticism she's faced before, but here, in this moment, the weight of it is heavier. She's not used to being ignored or treated with disdain. Throughout the next hour, Song Hye-kyo encounters more challenges. The kitchen is chaotic, with orders coming in faster than the servers can handle. A plate breaks on the floor, and she's blamed for not being quick enough to clear the space. The manager, a stern man who barely acknowledges her, watches her every move with a critical eye. She tries her best to follow instructions, but the faster she moves, the more mistakes she makes. As the day wears on, she starts to notice the way the other staff members look at her. Some of them are friendly enough, offering tips and advice. But others? They're dismissive. Some barely say a word to her, treating her like a cog in the machine, another part of the background that doesn't deserve attention. At one point, a customer asks for extra napkins, and when she brings them over, he barely looks at her. Finally, he says with irritation, "Took you long enough. Don't just stand there, get me the bill too." His tone is sharp, condescending. Song Hye-kyo feels her heart sink. It's one thing to be treated with indifference, but it's another to be treated with outright disrespect. She starts to feel small, invisible. The weight of the judgment and impatience from the customers is unbearable. She's reminded of how easy it is to forget the humanity of someone who serves you. And here, she is, the actress who has been adored by millions, treated like she doesn't matter. She tries to brush it off, but it's hard. The worst comes when a particularly rude customer, a middle-aged man, shouts at her for a mistake she didn't even make. "This is unacceptable," he yells. "I don't know who hired you, but you're terrible at this. Get someone else to fix this." Her cheeks burn with embarrassment. She knows she's not the most experienced waiter, but the public humiliation stings in a way she's not used to. She quickly apologizes, but the man waves her off dismissively, not even allowing her a chance to explain. She steps away, trying to keep her composure, but tears of frustration start to well up in her eyes. It's in these moments that Song Hye-kyo truly begins to feel the depth of what so many workers experience daily. The disregard, the impatience, and the judgments are not just annoying, they're dehumanizing. She feels like a piece of furniture, something people expect to serve them without question or acknowledgement. She reminds herself why she is here. This is not just an acting experiment, this is a chance to truly understand the struggles of those who work in the background. But something unexpected happens after the worst of the day. After the rush settles down, Song Hye-kyo has a moment of reflection. A customer who had witnessed her struggle earlier approaches the counter where she's standing. He's an older man, dressed in a suit, with a warm smile on his face. "Hey, I just wanted to say," he begins, "I saw how you were treated today, and I know it wasn't easy. But I just want to remind you, people often forget that it's not the job that defines you, it's how you carry yourself. I respect you for doing your best, even when others didn't appreciate it. Keep your head up." Song Hye-kyo looks at him, surprised. "Thank you," she says softly, her voice filled with gratitude. It's a small moment, but it means the world to her. In the midst of all the humiliation and frustration, someone took the time to acknowledge her efforts. It's this kind of respect that she's been fighting for, and this is just the beginning. The next few hours feel like a blur for Song Hye-kyo. She continues to carry out her tasks, but something inside her has shifted. While she still faces moments of criticism and humiliation, the words of the older man resonate in her mind. His simple act of kindness acknowledging her effort has given her a small sense of dignity that she desperately needed. She understands now more than ever the importance of seeing others for who they truly are, beyond their roles or the work they do. As the shift progresses, she encounters more customers. Some are polite, offering a smile or a word of thanks, while others continue to act as though she is invisible. The varying treatments show her just how much respect, or the lack thereof, depends on the person being served. But she carries herself differently now, more confidently, despite the occasional rudeness. She understands that the work doesn't define her, but how she responds to the work does. By the time the dinner rush begins, the restaurant is packed. The energy is frenetic, and the pressure to get orders out in time is intense. But Song Hye-kyo is no longer overwhelmed by it. The chaos around her feels different now. She sees it as part of the experience, a necessary component of the work, not a source of humiliation. Every time someone asks her to bring extra cutlery or refill a drink, she does it with the same patience and professionalism, no longer worried about the judgments or complaints. Just as she's finishing her final round of tables, a couple of customers approach her with a friendly smile. They're older, in their late 40s, but there's something genuine about their demeanor. One of them looks at Song Hye-kyo and says, "Thank you for taking such good care of us today. We've been coming here for years, and it's rare to see someone who puts so much effort into their work, no matter what they're doing." Song Hye-kyo's heart skips a beat. The words are simple, but the sincerity behind them makes all the difference. She smiles back at them. "Thank you," she says quietly. "I really appreciate that." As they leave the restaurant, Song Hye-kyo feels a sense of validation. It's not the praise of being an actress, but it's still praise. It's the kind of recognition that comes when someone sees you as a person, not as a role. It's that moment of connection when you're seen for who you are and not just for what you do that makes the difference. By the time her shift ends, Song Hye-kyo is exhausted. The long hours, the physical demands, and the emotional toll of being treated with disrespect have all taken their toll. But she's proud of herself. She has learned so much in such a short period of time, and she feels a deep sense of appreciation for the workers who do this day in and day out. The small acts of kindness she's received from a few customers have shown her that respect can make all the difference, and that small gestures of kindness can transform an entire day. As she changes out of her uniform and heads to the back exit, she's approached by one of the waiters, a young man who has worked in the restaurant for several years. He's one of the few people who has treated her kindly throughout the day, offering tips and advice, and now, he looks at her with a more serious expression. "You know, I've been working here for a long time," he says, "and I've seen a lot of people come and go. But there's something different about you. Most people wouldn't last a day in this job, let alone do it with the kind of patience and respect you've shown today." Song Hye-kyo feels a wave of gratitude wash over her. She didn't expect anyone to notice, let alone acknowledge her efforts. But this young man's words mean more to her than she can put into words. She smiles at him, feeling a new sense of purpose. "I'm just trying to do my best," she replies, her voice filled with sincerity. Everyone deserves respect, no matter what job they have. The young man nods, a look of admiration in his eyes. "You've got the right attitude. I hope more people could see things the way you do." As she leaves the restaurant that evening, Song Hye-kyo feels a deep sense of fulfillment. She came here to learn, to experience life from the perspective of those who work in the background, and she's gained far more than she ever expected. It wasn't just about surviving the day, it was about embracing the lessons that came with the challenges and the humiliation. And in the end, she learned that respect isn't given because of status or fame, it's earned by how we treat others, regardless of their position. But Song Hye-kyo knows this isn't the end of her journey. It's only the beginning. She is now more determined than ever to use her platform to advocate for the respect and recognition of service workers everywhere. She's learned firsthand how a simple act of kindness or acknowledgement can make all the difference, and she is committed to ensuring that others experience the same respect that she's fought for. The days that follow bring more lessons and challenges for Song Hye-kyo. While she's no longer in the restaurant, she's still carrying the weight of the experiences she had during her time as a waiter. In conversations with friends and colleagues, she begins to reflect more deeply on the importance of showing respect to those who work behind the scenes, the ones who serve, clean, and support the daily operations of the world around us. One evening, as she's attending an event with other celebrities, she notices how many people are openly treating the waitstaff with indifference. She watches as a group of well-dressed guests speaks down to the servers, demanding their orders be taken immediately without so much as a please or thank you. The attitude of entitlement is shocking, and it hits home in a way that Song Hye-kyo never expected. She can't help but think back to the days when she herself was ignored, dismissed, and humiliated by customers who felt entitled to treat her as less than. She's disgusted by what she sees, but more determined than ever to speak up. As the event progresses, she finds herself seeking out the head waiter and pulls him aside. "I know it's not easy," she says, her voice filled with sincerity. "But you and your team are doing an incredible job. I want to personally thank you for making this event run so smoothly. Without you, nothing would work." The waiter, a young man in his late 20s, looks at her with surprise. "Thank you, ma'am. That means a lot to me and to the team. But you'd be surprised at how little we get recognized, especially at events like this." Song Hye-kyo nods in understanding. She can see the exhaustion in the young man's eyes and the effort that he's putting into keeping everything running smoothly. People don't always realize how much work goes into these events. But you are making a difference, even if they don't see it. I want you to know that I appreciate it. As she leaves the event later that night, Song Hye-kyo reflects on the impact of her words. It wasn't much, but she has made a conscious effort to be more vocal about the importance of respect. It's not just about her own experiences anymore, it's about using her voice to create awareness and inspire others to treat people in service roles with dignity. Over the next few weeks, Song Hye-kyo continues to find new ways to spread her message. She speaks with her team about how they can promote respect and kindness in every aspect of their work, from interacting with crew members to ensuring that everyone, regardless of their position, feels valued and appreciated. She shares her story at charity events, urging others to recognize the humanity in everyone they meet. But even with all of her efforts, she still faces moments of struggle. One afternoon, while she's out shopping at a high-end store, she overhears a conversation between a customer and the cashier at the register. The customer, impatient and rude, is demanding a discount on an item that's already been marked down. He speaks to the cashier in a condescending manner, making her visibly uncomfortable. "Is this all you can do? Do you even know how to handle a sale?" the customer sneers, causing the cashier to shrink back. Song Hye-kyo can't help herself. She steps forward, her voice steady but filled with conviction. "Excuse me," she says, addressing the customer directly. "I think it's important to remember that this person is doing their best. There's no need to speak to them like that. Everyone deserves respect, no matter their job." The customer looks at her in shock, clearly unprepared for someone to stand up to him. "Who do you think you are?" he snaps. "I'm someone who believes in respect," Song Hye-kyo responds, her voice unwavering. "And I think it's time more people remembered that. Everyone here is doing their job, just like you are. But the way we treat each other says a lot about who we are." The customer hesitates for a moment, clearly embarrassed by her words, before muttering an apology and leaving the store. The cashier looks at Song Hye-kyo, surprised and grateful. "Thank you," the cashier says softly. "I didn't know what to say to him, but you helped me find my voice." Song Hye-kyo smiles, her heart swelling with pride. This is why she's been speaking out, why she's been so determined to raise awareness. It's not about confronting people, but about empowering those who are being mistreated to stand up for themselves. It's about creating a world where respect is the baseline, not the exception. As Song Hye-kyo leaves the store, she feels a sense of accomplishment. She knows that moments like these, no matter how small, are part of the larger movement she's trying to build. A movement of kindness, respect, and empathy for every person, no matter their role. Her time as a waiter has changed her perspective on the world, but it has also given her a deeper understanding of what it means to be human. It's not about the job you do, it's about how you treat others while doing it. And that, she realizes, is something we can all do better at. After her experience in the store, Song Hye-kyo finds herself reflecting more and more on the power of words and actions. It's clear that small moments of kindness can have a profound impact, not just on the person receiving them, but on the bystanders who witness these interactions. It makes her even more determined to continue her mission to change how service workers are viewed and treated in society. One day, she receives a message from a fellow actress who has been following her journey. The actress invites her to a gathering where several celebrities, activists, and influencers will come together to discuss how they can use their platforms to make a real difference in society. Song Hye-kyo agrees to attend, excited by the possibility of joining forces with others who are passionate about spreading kindness and respect. At the event, Song Hye-kyo is introduced to several individuals who are involved in social justice causes, including workers' rights. As they discuss the challenges faced by employees in the service industry, the room grows silent, the weight of the issue settling in. The conversation quickly shifts from acknowledgement to action. One activist speaks up: "We need to encourage people to support workers, not just in words, but in their actions. We need to show them that their work matters, that they matter. It's time for people to stop thinking of workers as invisible and start treating them as valuable." Song Hye-kyo feels a deep sense of purpose as she listens to these words. The activist's message resonates with everything she has been fighting for: the recognition that every person, no matter their job, deserves dignity and respect. She knows that the fight ahead is long, but it is one that she is now fully committed to. When it's her turn to speak, she stands up, taking a deep breath as she faces the crowd. "I've seen firsthand how people working in service roles are treated," she begins. "I've been in their shoes. I've been humiliated, ignored, and made to feel invisible. But I've also seen the power of simple acts of kindness. A word of appreciation, a moment of respect, can make a world of difference. And it's time for all of us to do our part in making sure that every worker, no matter their role, is seen and respected." Her words hang in the air for a moment, and then, slowly, people start nodding, understanding the gravity of what she's saying. It's not just about acknowledging the work of others, it's about fostering a culture of mutual respect, of empathy, and of kindness. A culture where workers aren't just there to serve, but are recognized as human beings, worthy of respect and dignity. The conversation shifts to tangible steps they can take, and several initiatives are discussed, from campaigns that encourage fair treatment of workers to social media movements that highlight the stories of those who are often overlooked. By the end of the event, Song Hye-kyo feels a renewed sense of hope. She realizes that this fight, this cause, is bigger than her. It's about creating lasting change, and she is just one part of a much larger movement. As she walks out of the event, she feels a weight lift from her shoulders. She's no longer just an actress playing a role, she's an advocate, a champion for those who need a voice. And while her time as a waiter was just a small part of her journey, it was an experience that changed her forever. It gave her the tools to understand the importance of empathy, respect, and kindness in a way that words alone never could. Back at home, Song Hye-kyo sits down to reflect on everything she's learned. She is committed to using her platform for good, to continue speaking out about the importance of treating others with dignity. She knows that the road ahead won't be easy, but she is no longer intimidated by the challenges. The more people she meets who share her passion, the more confident she becomes in her ability to make a difference. She picks up her phone and posts a message to her followers: "Every person deserves to be seen and respected. No one is invisible. Let's change the way we treat one another, starting with the people who make our lives easier every day. Together, we can make a difference." As the likes and comments start to roll in, she feels a sense of pride. It's not just about the fame or the recognition, it's about using her influence to bring about real, lasting change. And she knows that, one step at a time, she is making that change happen. In the weeks that follow, Song Hye-kyo's message gains more traction. Her post about respect and recognition for service workers spreads across social media, with fans and fellow celebrities sharing it widely. More and more people are joining the conversation, and a ripple effect begins to take hold. It's no longer just about her personal experience, it's about creating a culture of kindness and appreciation that reaches across industries and communities. Song Hye-kyo's involvement with various social justice causes continues to grow, as she partners with organizations that focus on workers' rights, fair wages, and safe working environments. She attends more events, speaks at conferences, and continues to share her story in interviews. But while the public attention is meaningful, it's the personal connections that truly matter to her. One day, after attending a meeting with an advocacy group, Song Hye-kyo was approached by a woman in her late 30s. She looks familiar, but Song Hye-kyo can't quite place her. The woman hesitates for a moment before speaking. "You don't remember me, do you?" she asks softly, a small smile on her face. Song Hye-kyo shakes her head, confused. "I'm sorry, I don't think I do." The woman smiles gently. "I used to work as a waitress at that restaurant you went to. The one where you disguised yourself. I was there the day you were working, and I just wanted to say, thank you." Song Hye-kyo blinks in surprise. "You were there?" The woman nods. "I was one of the people who watched you, who saw what you were going through. And I just wanted to tell you that you changed my life that day. You don't know this, but the way you carried yourself, the way you kept going despite the disrespect, you inspired me to keep going when I felt like giving up." Song Hye-kyo is speechless for a moment, her heart swelling. She had no idea her actions that day had such an impact, but hearing it from someone who had been in the same position makes everything feel worth it. She takes a deep breath, her voice trembling slightly. "I didn't expect to make any kind of impact," she says softly. "I just wanted to understand what it's like, to experience what so many workers go through every day. But I'm so grateful that my story has helped you." The woman nods, tears welling up in her eyes. "You helped me see that I don't have to accept being treated poorly just because of my job. I deserve to be treated with respect. And now, every time someone speaks down to me or treats me badly, I remember what you said, I matter, no matter what job I have. I stand up for myself now." Song Hye-kyo feels a deep sense of pride, knowing that her small actions have led to something much bigger than she could have ever imagined. The woman's words resonate deeply with her, "I matter." She had started this journey to understand the struggles of others, but in doing so, she had found a voice for herself and helped others find theirs as well. As the woman walks away, Song Hye-kyo watches her go, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. This isn't just about changing perceptions of service workers, it's about helping people see their own value and realize that no one, no matter their role, should ever be treated as less than. The next day, she heads to a meeting with a team of workers' rights advocates, where she shares the story of the woman who approached her. "It's these kinds of moments that make it all worth it," she tells them. "We may not always see the change immediately, but the impact we have on others can be profound. It's about creating a ripple effect, one person at a time." The room falls silent for a moment, and then everyone nods in agreement. It's clear that they all share the same belief that change starts with one small act, one word of encouragement, one person standing up for what's right. And with each new connection, each new conversation, Song Hye-kyo's mission grows stronger. As the weeks turn into months, Song Hye-kyo continues to advocate for the rights and recognition of service workers. Her journey has come full circle. What began as an experiment to understand the struggles of others has evolved into a lifelong mission to create a more respectful, compassionate world. She speaks at rallies, partners with global initiatives, and continues to use her platform to amplify the voices of those who have been silenced for too long. She realizes now that this journey isn't just about changing how others see service workers, it's about changing how we all see each other. We are all human, deserving of dignity and respect, no matter our job or our status. And it's this truth, more than anything, that keeps her going. As Song Hye-kyo's journey continues, the impact of her mission begins to spread even further. More and more people, from all walks of life, begin to join the movement she's started. The conversations she's having, the stories she's sharing, are slowly starting to change the way people view service workers, reminding everyone that no job should define a person's worth. One day, Song Hye-kyo is invited to a gathering where several influential individuals, business leaders, philanthropists, and celebrities are gathered to discuss how they can contribute to bettering the world. As she takes her seat in the room, she notices that the conversation is quickly veering toward workers' rights and how to create systemic change that will elevate people in all industries. During the panel discussion, one business leader speaks about how important it is to empower workers and create opportunities for upward mobility. He talks about his experience managing large companies and how he's seen the disparity in how service workers are treated. His words echo the sentiment Song Hye-kyo has been advocating for: respect, dignity, and recognition for all. When it's her turn to speak, Song Hye-kyo stands up with a quiet but firm resolve. She has spent months fighting for this cause, and now, it's time to push her message even further. We often talk about success in terms of profit, performance, and leadership, she begins, her voice clear and strong. But we must also remember that success can't just be measured by wealth or status. Success should also be measured by how we treat each other. It's about seeing the person who serves you, the person who cleans your space, the person who makes your day a little easier. They deserve respect. They deserve recognition. Her words resonate with the audience, and she can see the shift happening right before her eyes. It's not just a speech, it's a movement. She's not asking for charity or pity for service workers. She's asking for respect, for equality, for recognition of their humanity. And the room listens. After the panel, Song Hye-kyo is approached by several people, both industry leaders and everyday people, who thank her for sharing her story. A well-known director, whose work she has admired for years, approaches her with a look of admiration. "I think you've really started something important," he says. "Your words and actions have the power to change how we all view people in service. I think it's time we all started paying attention." Song Hye-kyo smiles, grateful for his words, but more determined than ever. She's heard this kind of praise before, but she knows that the work isn't done yet. She's only just begun to make real change, and there's still much to be done. As she continues her advocacy work, she hears more and more stories of people who have been inspired by her journey. Waiters, cleaners, cashiers, and others in similar roles reach out to thank her, telling her that her courage to stand up for what's right has given them the confidence to demand respect for themselves. This is what keeps her going, knowing that her voice is making a tangible difference. One afternoon, while volunteering at a local charity event aimed at providing food and supplies for service workers, Song Hye-kyo overhears a conversation between two young volunteers. They're talking about her, about the impact she's had on their perspective. "I didn't realize how much we take for granted," one of the volunteers says. "The way we treat people in service, how we talk down to them. But hearing Song Hye-kyo talk about her experience, it changed everything for me. It made me see them differently. They're not invisible. They're just as important as anyone else." Song Hye-kyo overhears the conversation and feels a wave of gratitude. This is exactly what she's been hoping for: a shift in perspective, a change in attitude, and a world where respect and kindness are the standards, not the exceptions. She continues to push forward with her mission. The lessons she's learned, the struggles she's faced, and the kindness she's witnessed along the way have all come together to fuel her passion. She's not just advocating for others, she's building a movement that will continue long after she's gone. As she looks to the future, Song Hye-kyo knows that the road ahead will be challenging. The fight for respect and equality for service workers will take time, but she's not afraid of the journey. She has learned that real change takes patience, persistence, and the willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it's difficult. And as she continues to use her platform for good, she feels a sense of peace, knowing that she is part of something much bigger than herself, a movement for respect, kindness, and human dignity. So, if you've made it this far, type "respect" in the comments. Let's continue spreading the message that everyone, regardless of their job, deserves to be treated with dignity, kindness, and respect. Together, we can create a world where every person is valued for who they are, not what they do.